2, 1. Boom. Welcome back, everybody. Another Tuesday night chat with the Muskrat. Where'd you go? Chat with the Muskrat, and Mr. Zach Murray is here with me, along with not one stand, 2 stands in the house. And
what is up, everybody?
We are down on the James River, having a good old time, chasing around big old catfish. Like, why would you spend your time chasing around a big old slimy, stinky old fish? Well, because it's what makes our wheels turn. We love it.
That's right.
We love it. And well, I'm letting a couple of folks hop in the chat here. I'm going to try to figure out if I can. Well, I'll wait. I was going to try to share some pictures from the fish we've lucked into a few so far this trip. Today being we've broken the James River curse.
Yes.
We're no longer on that hump that we just couldn't seem to get over. We had our best day ever a couple of days ago, and then today we upped that with even better fish. No sturgeon stories. No sturgeon here, Lynn Leeper. Thanks for stopping in. Real quick, we'll say hello to Randy, old gray hair Swain. What's up, Randy Swain? Sampy's in the house. Nebraska Wildcats is here as well. Mama's in the house. She's watching from home. So thankful for all of our friends I've made this year with everyone. Oh, she's a sweetie. See, Zach's here. Zach Rogers still in the shot. He didn't have to put that. We come sliding in sideways. We was on stand time. You know, I mean, I thought if he was on the James River, you know, if you fish tidal waters, you didn't have to be on time. That's what I thought. Right. I still made it on time.
That's right.
What's going on? Thanks for stopping in along with Josh, the weekend angler. What's up, brother? Catfish Cowboy was out there watching us today live. Appreciate that. Now he's local. Is he local here too, Stan?
Yep. He's the newest local amongst us.
Newest local. That's what I thought. I don't have his contact information, but if he's wanting to jump in and hang out and tell fish stories, we can do that tomorrow.
I'll add him right after the show.
Good deal. James Cool Cats is in the house. Mike Greenwell's here as well. He was watching the live today. Burrito Catfishing Lady was there. Stan is already here. Mr. Skip, Clearview Outdoors in the house. He just dropped a cool video of just putting a hammer down on some fish up at the dam not too long ago. So go check out Clearview Outdoors and check that video out. Creole Catfishing's in the house. He was also jumping in on a live today. Mr. Kevin Walters, Mr. Catfishing's here. Misplaced Country Girl, Denise, welcome in. Thanks for stopping by. Let's see if I can catch up a little bit here. We got some hellos going back and forth. Uncle Lou, what's up, Uncle Lou?
In the house.
Congrats on the hog, Rat. Hey, thanks, brother. Yeah, we stuck a big one today. We'll get to the story here in a minute, but we'll just let the hype build. We stuck a big one today. How's that? Let's see. Try not to miss anybody. Lynn Leeper, welcome in. Let's see here. Who all we got? Creole. Yeah, we said hello, but he deserves 2 hellos, so we'll say hello.
There's our old broadcast brother out there, Roger.
That's right. Stan, we've got so much in common, even our broadcast brothers.
Isn't that crazy?
See, that's my brother in chat today. I was at work, unfortunately.
That's his real life, real brother.
Real brother, yeah.
His real
Andrew
brother
was in chat. I know I was getting yelled at because I was too busy. I was too busy to say hello to everybody. I was a 1 pound Dustin is here.
That was what we originally called them because, you know, it's Dustin, Team Snag and Whiskers. Then it was another Dustin. So we were like, what do you call it? Another Dustin So then he was doing stand days and he was just hammering. He'd come on every week and hammer 1 pound blue cat. So henceforth we were calling him 1 pound Dustin.
I don't know what I did with my drink. I don't I don't think Jeremy would have any opposing to us coming down and fishing on a new boat. But for the record, Andrew did invite us down on the new boat already before Jeremy did. Oh, there it is. Creole catfishing. Andrew. Maybe I should change it. Suggestions. Tank. That's what his nickname is. Tank Slayer. That's what I like.
If you've ever seen him, I'm pretty sure it's quite appropriate name.
He is a tank. I would not get in his way. All right. Let me see real quick if I can pull these up. And go.
And well, I can start you out. It was a warm winter day. Roger and Zach had been fishing, and they've had quite a good trip, but they knew the trip wasn't over. They still had time. The beast was still there. And as they dramatically went out and pounded to get the bait. Sorry, go ahead. Picture speaks 1,000 words. So,
dude, I could just have you write the script. I'll just do the video part, and you just.
There you go.
It'd almost be good as getting epic. Just read the script for me.
Yeah, bait.
Close. Epic is epic. You're not going to out epic.
Yeah, bait has been tough, man. I ain't gonna lie.
We were told that too.
We were told before we came down. I reached out to a couple folks and asked about how the bait's been, and I was told it's tough, and it was. I'll be honest with you. We tried throwing the cast net. Bait was pretty deep in most areas, and we struggled. And I'll be honest with you, several boats went by us, and I don't know. I guess we just look approachable, but they were more than happy to talk to us. You guys just got some friendly fishermen down here, kind of. That or they wanted to make us feel stupid. It was like, what are you guys doing? You need to get a gill net. What in the hell do you think you're doing? All right. In the spring or summer, we've been here and we've had no problem catching our bait with cast nets. So we didn't feel the need to get a gill net. Well, after about the third person said, listen, you need to get a gill net, buy it from Teresa Vaughn. She builds these gill nets down here. You can get them. I think
set up everything you need.
Yeah, everything you need.
A tote, and they're got all the floats, and they're just
the floats and the totes and everything. All you got to do is buy the weights to sink it, depending on how bad, how far, what you want to do with it. So we did that. We looked up Teresa Vaughn on Facebook and sent her a message. She said, what size do you want? She sent her dad to meet us, and we bought a 50-footer.
Perfect size.
Yeah, we figured that's all we really need. We're not here we don't want enough bait to go for 5 days. We want to have to catch fresh bait every day or every other day. So we got our gill net and we set it up. We actually set it once and caught a couple and kind of got the hang of it. And we got into some bait and we set it again and we loaded up. I don't think I put the videos out yet, but we loaded up on some giant James River gizzard shad and
James River glizzies.
James River glizzies. They're giants.
They're big.
Let me see if I can't mess this up. I'm going to try. So here's just the pictures of the bigger fish that we've caught on this trip. I'll try to, if you can still hear me. I don't know if you can still hear me or not. Stan, I can still hear you when I was trying to share it. So tell me if you can hear me.
I hear you loud and clear so far. There you go.
How about now? You see that?
We see it and I hear you.
Holy moly.
And if you want to make that even bigger, you can click on that and hit full screen and it'll take us off. We'll still be here, but that'll overlay over top of us.
What will hit full screen here?
Yeah, just on the picture.
Oh, no, I see it.
Or
now you can't hear you.
Now I can't hear you.
No, I hear you.
Oh. I thought if I put all these in downloads, I could go to the next one without having to go back out, click on the next one. I'm trying to see how. Well, that didn't work nearly like I thought it would.
If you've got that page open already, Roger, it should go, like you said, it should, if it's on that same page, unless it's a separate page for every picture.
Well, that's what I thought. I put it all in the, oh boy, I put it all in the download file there. So I thought I could just go straight through them all.
Yeah, but as Roger was doing that, he was talking about the 50-foot net. That is about the perfect size length because when you are into them, you don't want anything bigger than that because you'll be picking bait and catfish and everything else out of there for a long time. So, if you are going to, if you're not familiar with tidal areas and gill nets, they're very strict use on them. So make sure before you get a gill net, they did a great job by going to somebody that's what they do. But there's an exact size that you got to have for the mesh, and if you go bigger or smaller than the size you're supposed to have, that the size of the mesh with a gill net is what you're targeting to catch. So they know the size of the gizzard shad. That's why in the gill nets, all you get is the big gizzard shad because that's the size that you're targeting with that size of a mesh.
Trying to move this thing around.
Oh man, I feel so much better. Thank you. Yeah, it was this gone. By the time I was done on Sunday afternoon, it was about the size of a softball.
Into something.
From being sick for that last week, I ended up with a infected salivary gland. Never knew anything about that was possible, but all of a sudden, yes, it was. Hey, there's Parker Pursuits out there. What's up, Jerry? Great to see you. Right now, we've been talking about cast nets. Roger's pulling up some amazing photographs from the epic fishing journey today.
He's trying.
Hey, Laughing Cat's out there. Great to see you, Thomas.
Maybe
talking about Creole's boat. Greg B's out there. How's it going, my friend?
Why is it not going anywhere?
We said Uncle Lou in the house. You might have to go back to do the stop share and then hit present again and then share screen.
What is it, bud?
If you go down to the bottom where it says present, PRSENT, and then you hit. Okay.
Yeah, what the problem was, I was trying to get it to where I could flip through all the pictures and not just do like one at a time. But it says maybe Parker wants it. But anyway, hang on. I'll try to find. I'll just try to go steal a couple good ones real quick. But so in the meantime, we was talking about fishing tidal water, and Zach and I, we've been down here a couple of times, and you hear everybody talk about the tides, but you'll be surprised at just how much of a difference things change. And some of our findings, it's not even so much the tide changing, it's timing on like when it's peak or when the current is the strongest. So like the other day, we did best when the current, we got the ripping, pulling fast, the bite was on for us.
That's when we were just anchored up, throwing on a ledge. We were targeting a specific depth on that. We was trying to find something with, it wasn't just a straight one like that. It had some, kind of came up and, at a certain
shelf, some shelf action.
Yeah, we were looking for a shelf and a particular depth and all that stuff. That was our day 2 that we were here.
Yeah, day 2.
We did really well that day too. That was a good day. We actually hooked up with some. We talked to everybody we can. Yeah. Just to get information and ideas. And we talked to a guy that was he's an officer in the Navy, and so it's easier for me to talk to him. And he gave us all kinds of good information, and he fishes this year round, and he says his targeted depth is different throughout different times of the year. And right now, this time of year, he gave us a number, and he said, this is where I'm going to target. And he said, that's where I'm going to fish all day. It's that depth. And so we kind of targeted that same depth, and abracadabra, it was our best day ever.
Yeah.
So now today, we didn't do that. We didn't go out and, we kept moving all day today. We were dragging, but there was a reason that we did what we did, because of the sun being out, and the water heating up back in there where we were at, in the shallower waters and all that stuff. And we tried targeting, we'd see some fish, we'd set up on them, we'd throw to them, and we really didn't do very well. We didn't see a lot of big fish, like 50 or 30 plus type fish. We've seen a few, but we didn't catch any of them.
Yeah.
So today we thought, or last night, we was like, all right, head scratching, what's the new idea for tomorrow? And we said, well, shoot, we seen 50-degree water yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So we drag in 50-degree water, and we've got a really heavy dragging weights if we need them for strong current. And we's like, let's just go shallow where that warm water is. We seen some fish. We'll just drag through them and see what happens. And boy, it paid off. It paid off for part of the day. Things changed as the day went on, we found. And then later in the day, they started biting again. But there was a lull in the middle of the day where, I don't know if it's a tide thing or it's time of day thing. I can't tell you that. I don't know.
I'm almost a 99.99999% chance it is a tide thing, because they'll still be active somewhere. They're just not active there because the water's constantly changing.
Yep.
But that's my guess, my opinion, just from what I've seen fishing here.
Yeah, when it got close to, or right after the peak, that area, I mean, what we were marking even changed. I mean, it's like, I don't know where they went somewhere. They weren't, the numbers were not there. So, but then later in the day, we moved. We traveled around and used our electronics and stuff. And first of all, we looked at the map, and it was like, all right, we're going to go to this area for this reason. And we went back there, and excuse me, it paid off. We went back there, and immediately we started seeing fish. He's like, all right, let's go, set them up. We started dragging that. We made one pass, and there was gar everywhere. We still were catching catfish amongst the gar.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid just because there's gar, because you see gar, that doesn't mean you're not going to catch catfish. And we didn't catch one gar today. I don't think we have one gar bite.
That's the highlight so far.
Gar Central down there.
Can you see that one, Stan?
I see it, and I'm just like, oof.
Oh.
He is that fish is so short for as heavy as it is. He's short.
Yeah, that's
it's just a pig. Absolute slobber pig. Look at it. He's a slob.
Yeah, that's a warm winter day.
But you know what? The other day when we were fishing that ledge and all that stuff on day 2, the water was colder up there where we were at, and even that 40-pounder we caught, man, they didn't fight for nothing. I didn't even think that. I thought that 40-pound fish was a low team. I mean, it just came right in like nothing. Didn't hardly fight. Same thing with the 30s and 20s we caught that day. They didn't fight much. Now today, different story. The water was just a little warmer back in there, and the sun was out, and those fish, they were pretty rowdy.
I couldn't believe how much that water warmed up.
Yeah.
From what the number you gave me, that was nuts that it warmed up that back up above that and into that was surprising.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the shallower we got or the farther we got from the main, the warmer the temperature got. And we figured the fish, so it's either the warmer temperatures were there yesterday, and we set up on fish and we couldn't get them to bite. We did hit a few fish, but we didn't get the numbers or the size of fish we got today. Today the baits were moving. And honestly, when Dustin and Austin were fishing a week or so ago in one of the tournaments, online tournaments, they had the same problem. They weren't catching anything on anchor, And when they started dragging baits, that's when things changed. And they started picking up fish. And so we said, hey, I'm not sure where they were dragging at. I don't need to know. Apparently they had some conditions that were good to drag in. So we said, hey, we got warm water. There's no reason these fish can't be caught. So we started dragging today, and
we didn't drag real fast or anything, but
no, we was going 0.4 most of the time, 0.3 to 0.4. Now the wind did kick our butt today and made it a little bit tougher.
Yeah, we had to use drift socks and all kinds of tricks, to make it work. But
thanks, Jackie, saying don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Andrew of Creole Catfishing says that is a 12-pounder. I can tell. I've seen many, many catfish. I can perfectly tell you in any picture how big they are. Thomas Littlepage is in the house. What's up, Laughing Catfishing? He says 73 pounds. It was 73.74 in the net, but the net weighs about 2 pounds. So it was a 71 and some change. So I'm just calling it 71. That's plenty good enough. It was
you know what? In that shallow water, we were anywhere from 4 to 8 feet today.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I'm telling you, they go everywhere and fast. They go so fast at the boat, past the boat, under the boat, around the boat, and everything else. You can't keep up. More than once we caught fish today, and we thought they got off. They didn't get off. They were just heading straight at the boat at 100 mile an hour. You couldn't real fast enough to catch them.
Shh, don't tell everybody that you can catch that big of fish in that shallow of water. That's a secret. Shh.
Oh, yeah? Sorry, secret's out. If you guys watched today. I've actually got Teresa Vaughn messaging me right now. I sent her that picture of that big one today. Because she is so nice. She was curious about how we did and if the net worked out good for us and if we had any trouble.
If you ever get a chance to talk to her dad, he's a fisherman. That's what he's done for a living. He's just recently retired, and he sat there in that parking lot and showed us exactly. He taught us everything about the net, how to use it, how to deploy it, explained everything, and we was asking questions, and he was answering, really perfectly. Yeah. And then what size weights do we put on the bottom? And he said, well, that depends entirely on you, how you're going to use it and how you like to use it. And he gave us a whole explanation. It was just schooled us in just 30 minutes, man. I'm telling you, we went out there and deployed that we've deployed it every time. And that had one problem. Everything just works.
Yeah.
But, we had somebody show us, and explain everything.
Hey, Curtis, out here, commercial fishermen are different. So these guys out here aren't targeting catfish to take back and put in pay lakes. A lot of these guys out here are targeting, that guy was after rockfish. These guys are
whatever they can make money at, crab, whatever's in season,
Yeah. So, he was commercial fishing for food industry, I believe. But
that's actually a good thing if they're harvesting the right amount of fish, the right type of fish. If they're harvesting those 3 to 5 pounders, that just makes life way better for the bigger fish. So
yeah. There's a method to the madness as far as numbers and selective harvest.
Curtis, a lot of our commercial, we're so close to saltwater that that's where the money is. So that's what most of the commercial fishing are.
Here in the James, blue cats are invasive. So there's they don't give a crap about, what happens to them. You know what I mean?
I know.
Nobody's trying to help them or do any kind of studies on them to help them anyway. So,
Stan, one thing that was mentioned to us was these guys were talking about drifting their nets. Do you guys ever drift your nets?
I don't know. We've never. There's one of the things. There's so many debris in the water.
Yeah.
That you don't want your net moving.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
You should really never have to do that to catch some bait. Yeah, Stan 3 said we try not to.
Yeah.
If you just got to learn the shad good enough that it's just like everything else. The shad are going to go to certain spots for certain reasons at certain temperatures, at certain whatever. They're just going to react. So eventually you can find them, and when it's the conditions like this, I think they tend to they either spread out more or they congregate more in like one spot. So if you know where those one or two spots are, there's billions of them.
We found
But there's not as many schools all over the place, if you understand what I'm saying.
We were super happy yesterday when we found a certain area that we know some places up your way, but down here it's a little different story. And everybody down here around the Chickahominy, right there at the ramp, right across from the ramp, that's where everybody catches bait. Well, there was two guys out there the other day that they knew what they were doing. They fish here all the time, and went out there and they weren't catching anything.
I can't hear anything.
You can't hear us?
I hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you now. Can you hear me?
Check, baby. Check, baby. 1, 2, 3, 4. Check, baby. Check.
Ram jam.
You put me down. I'll be right back.
Okay. He gone.
He gone. Yeah, it was definitely hot. I called I said 62.2 when I saw you fighting it before I saw the fish. I knew it was bigger than what.
We didn't know it was that
bigger
big.
than what was
well, honestly, we saw the swipe of the tail, and you catch a few big fish. We ain't caught a lot of big fish. We catch a few big fish. When you see that tail and you see the girth of the end of the tail, and you're like, "Oh, that's a good one." Yeah, we knew once we saw the tail, it was good.
It was so far out that first time we saw it.
Yeah, we can't use a gill net at home. Just on these, I believe, coastal waters. Which Jackie had a fantastic point. I said, because this water leads out to the ocean. She said, "Don't all rivers lead to the ocean?"
Well, eventually they do, but in the tidal section, you're only allowed to use that in the tidal section up to the fall line where they can't. So it's controlled by because we have saltwater fish that come up the river. It is controlled by the Virginia Marine Police, the VRMC. But because of the fact that they can, the fish that migrate back and forth for mating in the spring and fall, that's the rockfish you were talking about, striper. That's that's the cash money. Yeah. So they control that. So that's why we're allowed to use it, because it's considered saltwater. And above the fall line, so above Richmond up, you can't use it there because that's straight freshwater. So
gotcha. Welcome in, Dustin.
Appreciate it. You guys have had a heck of a time out here in Virginia, haven't you?
We're making a good time of it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And
we got one more day to fish, and we're going to try our best to up it. We'd like to put Zach on a PB. That I would love. I'll be tickled if we can get Zach on a PB tomorrow.
What would that look like?
63.5.
Sort of like this.
Yeah. Lots of fist bumps.
Up, down, hollering.
Yeah, that's exactly what that was.
Thank you, Stan. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Can always count on you.
That's right.
No, and you guys know us well enough to know that we work hard for the fishing. We don't back off, and we'll take a butt whooping and go home and lick our wounds, but we come back.
Absolutely.
Well, and so we were he knew you were going to have a good trip this time because the James River, and Dustin will tell you, we Stan 3 preaches that. I say it a lot, but it's you pay your dues, you sacrifice to the James River, and that's when it may take some time, but that big one will be there.
That's right. Yeah, I paid for my 63.71 pound PB with a GoPro.
See?
Oh. I've got a GoPro that is trying to bite the dust on me, and I am babying it, and at least until I get home. That thing is giving, as Zach, I almost threw it in the daggone river. It is giving me all kinds of problems. Both of them. I got 2 old GoPros, and they're both falling apart on me. But that's all right. I'm still going to make it work. Hey, there's Mike Chavez.
What's up, Mike?
Taste.
How far away is Mikey from us?
That would have been your James River Tidal expert there. That would have been the expert. You know, Roger was asking around before, trying to get James River experts up here, but everybody else was busy, so he stuck with just Dustin and I.
Well, I'll let him have you for about half an hour.
Harley Neal's in the house. I thought this was my OnlyFans feed.
I'll take my shirt off if you pay me.
Yeah.
How do I get out of here?
I'll take my shirt off and make you pay me to put it back on. Hey, Bugman 22's in the house. Hey, I saw you ask earlier if that fish was from today, and it was. The 71 was from today. We've got several in the 20s, 30s. Zach caught a 40 on the second day, and then it's been all kind of around that weight class until today we was able to bust out a big one.
You're gonna have to pop that picture back up. V just got in there. She says, "You guys catch a good one, Roger?"
Oh,
I've been sick and pretty much in a coma for the last 2 days.
Oh wow.
Let me see if I can find it. I don't remember what number it is. I'm just taking a wild stab at it here, but yeah, Dustin. Oh my God, I got lucky on the first try. Ooh. Dustin, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm fantastic. I am fantastic. Can't wait to get out on the water tomorrow.
So where are you fishing at tomorrow?
I'm probably gonna go up in the city.
Oh, really?
There you go, B. Look at that guy.
What's the draw for up there?
Well, we like the city. There's some big fish up there, but it's the water goes one way all the time.
Now, Dustin is not a fan of it going both ways. So,
but no, it's easier. And plus, the wind's going to be blowing tomorrow from the west. And if the water's going downriver and the wind's blowing from the west, that makes things a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't build up anything. We were considering all that. We just checked the weather here. It's going to be windy as all get out tomorrow.
Yeah, we actually the other day we came up and fished around Hopewell because of the wind. Our plan was to launch a deep bottom and fish that area, go to Hot Ditch, get some bait. We ended up going to Hot Ditch, getting our bait, and then fishing down around Jordan's Point. I mean, the days are getting longer now. We done hit our winter solstice, but they're too short. They're running out of daylight too fast.
Yeah, we need a couple of extra hours at the end of the day, really.
Yeah, we could definitely use it.
Well, one of the things, Roger, that I think your trips, multiple trips here, has proven what we say. You know, you'll hear us say it time and time and time. You do your research ahead of time. You talk to as many people as you can. Some things you know are going to be like, this guy's a little crazy. And, but you put your things together, you get your plans together, and then you go put your time in. And some things work, okay, some things don't. You put more time in, and then you put more time in, and eventually you get, I think the biggest thing this trip is you knew where not to go. You knew where to spend more productive time, and I think that just shows how much time on the water is important.
Well, we learn every time we come, and we learn things we do and don't like, and we learn things that we're good at and not good at. And Zach mentioned it today. Some people told them we're dragging. They're like, who in the world told you to drag down there? And we was like, that's what we do. We're good at dragging. So
tell them who told us that.
Larry Muse. We were talking to Larry Muse one day, and he said, look, I don't care where you go in the country to catch catfish. Do what you're good at. Do what you're comfortable with. Even if it doesn't make sense to everyone else, do what you know best. And if that doesn't work, then
we told him, and in the conversation, it was about the James River,
here,
actually. Yeah. And, we talked to him, we wanted some advice from him. And he said, that's when, the conversation started, or the answer about, he said, you do what you think you need to do there. He said, just because everybody there does this and does that, he said, that means nothing. He said, do what you know how to do and what you think you should do. And he said, that's what you need to do. He said, you guys have been doing this long enough, blah, blah, and, you know what you're doing. And then he told us a story about his first trip down here. He came down here and he brought skipjack. And he was, and people were like, making fun of him and all kinds of stuff. Guess what? He did just fine. He caught all kinds of big fish. He was just using that as an example, but still, and he said he'd done what he thought he should do, not what everybody else was doing necessarily.
Yeah. Len Leeper wants to know, how much did Zach charge for the guided trip? So I wonder, since how Zach technically was driving the boat and put me on that fish, does that count? Am I allowed to count that? Can I take credit for that?
No. You
can't take
PBs don't count on guided trips.
Oh, yeah. Well, it wasn't a PB. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to mention it. Do I have to say Zach put me on this giant fish? I'm okay with that. Okay, I'll stop stirring the pot here.
So unless you go fish by yourself, you're always that possibility of somebody taking. Right. Really, you got to give them credit, right? Is that what that amounts to? So if you're not in a kayak all by yourself, then. Okay. You see where
Zach did actually he actually did net the fish for you.
That's right.
Unlike.
That's right.
Which
I pulled it in the boat.
That's right.
And
I see Mike Greenwell mentioning putting big fish in a boat by yourself and taking pictures by yourself. But I don't know how y'all do it. Zach, Skip just caught that 85, and I don't know how he put that in a boat by himself. I mean, he told us for several days afterward he was hurting. But to catch a fish like that, net it by yourself successfully,
take pictures,
get it in the boat and take pictures. Yeah, that's tough. And Harley Neal says we're an influencers.
That's right.
We're influencers. Well,
and then you got the kayak guys like
count.
Dan and Stan 3 and Ryan and whatnot, and they're getting 70s in the kayak on the bump boards, taking the pictures so you can see how the length and everything, and putting it in, posting it in the current with the barges. I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts.
Hey, Jerry's got a great suggestion there. He puts his phone on video, and then he can just move the fish all around, get all the angles he wants, and then he can go back and take screenshots and make as many pictures as he wants out of a video. That's a great idea.
Absolutely.
See, you're always going to learn something on Muskrat Adventures. It may not be for me, but you're going to walk away with something.
Well, just like Zach driving the boat, Roger, your show, you're driving the boat to that answer so that everybody learns something.
Yeah, Jeremy's saying there's no way he could do that by themselves down there. The fast current makes it a chore. It's a ton of work with two people. Yeah, no kidding, bud. Dustin, what's your strategy for tomorrow going out? You targeting structure or ledges, deep, shallow?
I'm actually
GPS.
I've got a new trolling. Well, I say new. A J-Dog trolling motor on my boat now, so it's one of the motor mounted trolling motors. So, and we use that. Austin and I used that 2 weeks ago, and did fairly good. So, but one of the things I wanted to do for a while is drag the city. So there's some nice fish being caught up in the city, and I want to drag that area. I anchor fish there all the time, but I've never been able to drag that area. So that's one of the things I want to do tomorrow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know do you have any idea what the water temperature is up that way?
I don't. I'm guessing it's probably going to be in the 40s.
Okay.
It's cooler water coming from the mountains.
Yeah, it's cool. It's usually almost always cooler up there. If Catfish Cowboy is out there, him and his buddy did good this weekend. They caught 230. I sent you those pictures. 231 pounder. And apparently he had a monster that was towing the boat, and it's popped off. So yeah, and as it gets, the old saying that you were talking about before, Roger, about do what you do well.
Yeah.
Very few people fished for big fish up there before, like Stan and Dan 3. A lot of people didn't fish for big fish up there going back, 4 or 5 years. So the amount of big fish that they've been able to pull in from up there was just nuts. It was crazy. So, but they're there, and in the cooler temperatures and as the water, you get the winter water flow and stuff. There'll be more fish moving up because from the getting ready for spring.
So down here where we're at, the dead center of the river today, we had, was it 46.7? On the James. No, on our way driving back.
46.
Yeah, we had 46.7 degrees down here.
Out on the main river.
Out on the James. I think a lot of that's all these small flats, and I'm guessing there's a lot of warm water coming out of the Chickahominy as well. Warm water coming out of these all these shallow flats. You guys got some crazy shallow water.
We sure do.
I was saying today on the live stream, we found the emblem for shipwrecks, and I was like, what in the world goes on with you guys as captains down here?
There's
shipwrecks everywhere.
Yeah.
But,
they found the shallow water too.
Yeah, they didn't have the tools we have now to navigate.
Right.
Now, a lot of those are the old Revolutionary War being a huge part of it. There's a lot of old stuff out there. But there's new stuff too. It was just last year where a couple of boats were added into the collection at the bottom of the James River.
We found a giant ship on the bottom of the river today, and we've seen 2 or 3 different look like fishing boats on the bottom of the river in different areas. You're like, that's not a shipwreck. That's somebody who's messed up. That's a fishing boat. Yeah, Mike, I'd be interested in see those videos of you hauling these big fish in by yourself on the boat, man. Now you was huffing and puffing a lot on that last video, and it was an 81-pound fish. So you can huff and puff all you want and grunt, and we won't laugh because those are big fish, buddy. You haul them over the side of the boat, and we'll watch.
They don't have handles on them, really.
Especially when you try to pick them up, take a picture. My God, that one today, I like to turn my hands sideways. I open their mouths up wide. They don't have as much. I don't feel like they have as much crunch power if I can get in their jaw like that. And
Good point.
It makes a good picture also. So I take my hand all the way in the back of their jaw and I turn it sideways and make a fist, and it keeps them from crushing down on it so bad back in that back part. The guy today, no problem. Crushing the shit out of me. I kept trying to get moving my hand in there to get it to where I get better control. Same with that 78 I caught down in Tennessee a few years ago. That guy beat the tar out of me.
On video.
On video, yeah, on live again.
Smack.
Yeah, smacking me upside the head and trying to knock me into the water. I caught a fish today, had 2 other hooks in its mouth. Holy crap. You caught that Moby.
Oh, snaggletooth.
You always wonder when you catch that like 15, 20-pound fish, it's got a hook in its mouth. Somebody's telling the story of the Volkswagen-sized fish. It broke them off.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Like, I got it right here, buddy. He just didn't have the right gear. Or you hit some rocks or debris or something. It is always something, but tell them, Stan, if you want to catch big fish,
you got to be prepared to catch big fish.
Every
simple
cast.
As that.
Every cast. I preached it today. I caught that fish, and I run my thumbnail up and down the line. Now, normally when you catch a big fish like that, they'll tear your leader up. They got a big tooth pad, and it rubs back and forth on that leader line, and it usually will tear it up. But
yeah, it seems the bigger the fish, the grittier that tooth pad gets. Those little sandpaper teeth get a little bit bumpier and bumpier.
Hey, I know we call them sandpaper, but have you ever? They're not sandpaper. They're actual teeth. No. Because we saw. Did you show?
Yeah, I
showed
you.
These guys. There was a jaw, a catfish jaw. Like the tooth pad.
The skull.
There's just a skull, and those teeth are huge. It's just
below the gum line.
all you really see is those little tiny things. But good Lord, man, those teeth are huge. That's why they're tearing our hands to pieces.
Yeah, they're at least a 1/4 inch long teeth. They're just below the gum. So when they crush down on it, that gum gets pressed.
Those needles go in.
Those needles, they'll get you.
Yeah.
Yes. If you ever see a carcass of a catfish on a bank, go up and take a look at his tooth pad. It's scarier than you think.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Stan 3 said, wrong gear. They were like carp hooks. Yeah, and that's just like you said.
He was a rocker fish with 2 lip piercings. There you go. Hey, that's what
free piercings.
There you go. Right. Free piercings and portraits. I can't remember if that started with Harley Neal or Skip. I don't remember. I thought it started with Harley Neal.
That's what I thought.
Harley Neal. Hey, Harley Neal's a trendsetter. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
What do we got? I got my Slunger Cat Outdoors shirt. Guess who named Slunger Cat Outdoors?
I'm going to say Harley Neal.
Harley Neal.
Harley Neal. Harley Neal came up with the. Well, it depends on where you're from. I hear everyone pronounce it slugger. Slunger. Slunger. It's a slunger. I don't know what the definition is, but it means something big.
Harley Neal. He's the best voice talent there is.
Hey, Maurice Kaysen, I saw you come in, but I forgot to say hello. Welcome in, buddy.
How you doing, Maurice?
Crappy Day Darren as well. Outdoors Addiction. Jesse, what's going on, buddy? Long time to see.
What did they just say?
There you go. There you go. What's the weirdest thing you have seen in a fish when catching it?
Crab hanging out of its butt.
Crab claw hanging out of the anus on the James River.
Yeah.
It was like
still going.
He had digested it all and he was on his way out.
Now, I'm sure we may have seen other things, but
that was one that comes to mind.
Lynn, I got a picture. If I can find it, I'll send it to you. But that was a good one. That was a good one. Crab claw coming.
Baby duck.
To spit it up.
Actually, not a baby duck, but ducks. Duck feathers and stuff in the live well.
Puking up
a duck.
Ducks. Yep.
Wow.
So you go to a lot of these tournaments and stuff. These guys will, weigh in their fish, and after the ride back, you'll see some crazy stuff come out of these fish.
Well, and people always say about I don't see chickens in the water. Well, ducks are the water chickens after all. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah. I'm sure they can take a baby duck or a big duck or a cormorant there's a lot of birds in the water.
Yeah.
And they're equal opportunist feeder. They will eat anything that can fit in their mouth. Reminds me of myself.
That fish was just that big catfish. That was just surf and surf. If you ate the crab claw.
He's not watching right now, but I got my godson actually. He's into bass fishing. He grew up fishing ponds and got into bass fishing, and we messaged back and forth on Snapchat. And he's like, "Oh, you need to come down and do some bass fishing." I said, "No, you need to come do some catfishing." I sent him a picture of that fish today, and he said, "Oh my God!" I said, "That's what I'm talking about, man. It takes you all day to catch 4. It might take you 4 or 5 trips to catch 4 or 5 bass. I caught 1 fish today. Can you imagine how many bass he ate?" I caught 1 fish that had 5 bass in his belly.
Yeah.
He was like, touche. Cleaned a red ear sunfish the other day that had eaten another catfish. Eater. I don't know why I'm just adding words, man.
I was like, where'd that word come from?
That's my shorts. That's what I do. Look, I got a new record, bluegill.
Yeah. Let's try it again. He cleaned an eater catfish the other day that had already eaten another catfish. So he was an eater catfish.
That's literally.
He was an eater.
weirdest thing ever happened to me was when I was a kid, I used to have to clean all the fish and bullheads. So I'm cleaning the bullheads, and those you eat whole. So you just we had a little thing, you put it up on there. You took the razor, a real sharp knife, went around the skin, grabbed the pliers, popped it off like that, and all the guts and everything came out with the head. Well, I went upstairs, put all the catfish, washed them off, put them in the fridge, went back down to clean up. And here's this trail all the way along the basement floor. And I see this bullhead over there like this. With all the guts trailing behind it all the way across the floor.
Wow.
They're tough little suckers.
No kidding. Their willingness to live is kind of like a deer. You hit a deer and you're like, how in the world?
I've seen that with snakes before, but never a fish.
Yeah.
Well, guys, hopefully everyone is ringing in the new year and having a good time. Regardless of what you're doing, we're going to bed because we're going fishing in the morning. So there'll be no late night shenanigans here. We want to get up early and make the best of our last day fishing. Hopefully we get to meet up with you guys tomorrow evening somewhere and hang out, tell some fish stories, and spread some hugs. We're flexible. Wherever is convenient for everybody is centrally located. We can make arrangements. If Catfish Cowboy is down for meeting up, I'd love to shake a hand and meet up as well. We just like to see our East Coast brothers while we're here. Let's see. Caught a 25-pound blue once. Had about a 4-pound grass carp in its throat. The tail was still sticking out. Hey, Skip Stewart will tell you that. We caught I don't remember. I think it was a 30s or 40s pound flathead, and it had a huge drum sticking out, like that wide of a tail of a drum sticking out of its mouth. We got the picture. It's hanging out the mouth. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah, these fish are
turtles. There you go, Jerry. He's got some savage down there. He's got catfish with squirrels, turtles, and snakes in their bellies.
Wow. Now these fish don't. If you have a bigger bait or a smaller bait or a bigger bait, it's not going to scare off the smaller fish. Stan and I were fishing one time, and we pulled in a flathead. He was probably no longer than my arm, but he ate a whole bluegill, and it was in his mouth sideways. He ate it so far that we couldn't get it out of his mouth, but he couldn't close his mouth either because it was too big for him.
The flathead did not go to waste. It did not go to waste, though.
They went swimming in some grease.
You take him to the Crisco Disco and let him dance.
Sometimes you have to, and there's nothing wrong with that.
He wasn't going to survive anyway.
We've got a couple fish down here. We actually were running some pretty good sized baits. Our optimism and our expectations were high. We was running some pretty good sized chunks. These fish down here, he couldn't even, that one, he wasn't even hooked. He had the bait crammed in his mouth and couldn't get it out and got brought into the boat.
Yeah. It looked like somebody had pounded it into his mouth.
Like, how did you even?
Because he pulled it in and didn't even have a hook in it.
Yeah, just a little guy.
But and I think it's because the average size of our forage fish, the main supply of forage fish here all the time is gizzard shad, and you know the average size of our gizzard shad, so they're used to eating those bigger baits, I guess you can say, because that's what they normally eat on is bigger shad. But that's what shocked me today, Roger, with how small of a piece. That old saying I've heard definitely said before, that even elephants eat peanuts. So I was shocked. Yeah. I was shocked though.
Yeah, that piece of bait we caught that 71 today on was about 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches square. Yeah. And one of our favorite cuts on bait that big. We actually normally cut the gut pocket out and just chunk the backbone. We call them little SpongeBobs. But today we did things a little bit different because we were dragging. We filleted one side off, and then because the fillets are so big, we made like 3 cuts out of a fillet.
Strips.
Made strips out of them, and then we chunked up the backbone and cut the gut pocket off. So that's all that fish was caught on, was about 1.5 inch wide piece of meat with the backbone in it, and that's it.
Happy New Year, Lynn.
What's that say? Bigger name on the other line. Happy New Year, be safe. Bigger name on the other.
What?
Yeah. You could have just said, "Hey, gotta go, guys."
Yeah.
Not, I ain't got time for this. I got bigger fish to fry than this stuff over here.
The name drop in there, right?
So, Roger, y'all stand downriver again tomorrow?
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to pull us out of there.
I'm sure. I know how windy it was today, and it's going to be just like that again tomorrow.
It's going to be worse tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we did figure out our electronics problem. We could not lay a track today for the majority of the day, which was what was kicking our butt the most. If you can lay a track and get a drift sock out,
it'll stay on that track. If you got
it still might be a crazy day, and the ride up and down the river can be the other day on stand day. That afternoon, we tried to come back up down the Chickahominy because we was up in the Chickahominy that day. We tried to come down the Chickahominy. There was like 3 footers, like no joke. We was just getting rocked. We're like, holy crap, because the tide was coming in or going out, and the wind was coming in. It was like, yeah, this ain't good.
You see what
oh, come on, there? Jeremy. Well, listen, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. Let's say Happy New Year to everybody. Please be safe, whatever you're doing. And, yeah, keep that bell notification on. We might go live tomorrow, too. Who knows? We're going to do it early this time, maybe before we put lines in the water. Because Zach caught a 33 right off the rip today. And I'm telling you, I've never seen a fish come that fast to the boat. He reeled as fast as he could. He got his planer board in the boat and was disconnecting it, and the fish was still going upriver, and he realized, hey, the fish is still on here. That's how fast that thing shot to the boat. It was unreal.
Getting it.
And so we know now, which I screwed up today. I'll be telling myself. I had a planer board go down, then go slack, and I just started cranking it. He was running right at me. I pulled it right out of his mouth.
Oh,
I did not.
He was never hooked.
I did not wait for him to turn. I know better. Better. When a fish is coming to you, you don't just keep up with the slack. You just keep the slack up until he turns and let him tighten it up. No, I got excited.
Of course.
I lost
170 pounder.
170 pounds gone, just
that's
like that.
Volkswagen right there.
Volkswagen.
Yeah, that's right.
It was so shallow, his hump was sticking out of the water. We saw him.
And it was
you know how that joke goes, right? What are the 3 sizes of fish?
Yeah, there you go. Tell him, Sam.
Small, medium, and the one that got away.
All right, guys. Hey, have a happy and safe New Year, guys. Try to work out a plan that we can put something together tomorrow. We want to see y'all before we head home. Everybody else, Happy New Year. We'll see you next time. Same cat time, same cat channel. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Later. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.